The wait is finally over. And once again, the automotive world is asking a very serious question. How much control should a manufacturer have over a car after it's been sold? Ferrari has officially stopped Matt Armstrong from completing his Ferrari 296 GTB project, blocking the final components he needed to finish the transformation. And this situation feels very familiar, because we've seen this pattern before, where a builder invests time, money, and skill, and when the project starts gaining attention, the manufacturer tightens control, parts access becomes restricted. The question is no longer, can Matt fix it? The question is, are manufacturers deciding who is allowed to fix their own cars? If you care about independent builders, right to repair, and the future of high-performance car culture, tap the like button, share this video, and subscribe. Because what's happening here could shape the future of rebuild projects everywhere. Now let's break this down properly. From the very beginning, the Ferrari 296 GTB project has been very difficult. Matt bought the hybrid supercar damaged, knowing it wouldn't be simple to rebuild. But what he didn't expect was just how locked down modern hybrid Ferraris really are. Despite replacing components, reconnecting systems, and rebuilding visible damage, the car refused to start. And the reason appears to come down to one thing: the hybrid battery management system. In the 296, the hybrid battery essentially controls whether the car is allowed to power up. If the battery control module doesn't authorize startup, nothing happens. You get flashing hazards. Warning messages like, hybrid system failure. Go to dealer. Matt suspected that crash data stored inside the battery control module was preventing the system from resetting. He even sent the unit to specialists, hoping it could be cleared or reprogrammed. But the response was clear. Without Ferrari's official dealer-level access, proper communication with the battery system isn't realistically possible. That's when the bigger issue started to reveal itself. Modern supercars aren't just mechanical machines anymore. There are rolling networks of encrypted modules, secure gateways, and manufacturer-controlled software. So Matt had two options: take it to Ferrari immediately, or finish rebuilding the car completely first, so there would be no argument that incomplete bodywork or missing sensors were causing the problem. He chose the second option. Airbags were installed. The hybrid battery was reconnected. Quarter panels were welded into place. Every plug, every connector, every sensor was reinstalled exactly where the car's computer expected it to be. Front bumper was fitted, rear bumper aligned, doors mounted properly at nearly 3 a.m. Matt was still checking fuses one by one. Everything looked correct. Still, it refused to start. That's when this project took a bold turn. Instead of returning the 296 GTB to standard road specification, Matt decided that if he was going to rebuild this car, it was going to be special. He ordered a full Ferrari 296 Challenge body kit, genuine race car components directly from Ferrari. The bumpers, rear wing, diffuser, side skirts, wider arches. Now here's where it gets interesting. Ferrari's parts ordering system initially allowed the purchases. Even though the VIN belonged to a road-going 296 GTB, the Challenge components were approved and shipped. Some structural components normally require authorization, but in this case, the system let them through. The parts started arriving, and Matt got to work. But fitting race car components onto a road chassis is never plug and play. The rear diffuser required custom brackets to be welded to the crash structure. Parking sensor holes had to be drilled because race cars don't use them. The reverse camera had to be relocated. The rear wing installation meant removing the factory active spoiler supports and fabricating new mounting points. Things became even more complicated. The Challenge front bumper was wider. It's designed for a race setup that uses a central radiator and a vented bonnet. The road car's radiator layout didn't match. To complete the conversion properly, Matt needed additional Challenge-specific components: wider front fenders, a central radiator, and a vented bonnet. Visually, the transformation was coming together. The welded rear quarter panel was smoothed and repainted. The car returned from the body shop looking dramatically different. It looked like a one-of-one factory race-inspired 296, but mechanically, it's still completely dead. And then, the parts supply stopped. The remaining Challenge components were blocked. Ferrari's supplier explained that certain parts require authorization if they don't match the vehicle's VIN. If a component is designated as restricted and the chassis number doesn't correspond to a Challenge car, The system won't release it. No wider fenders, no central radiator, no vented bonnet, and the conversion stalled. On the surface, Ferrari's reasoning sounds logical. Manufacturers sometimes restrict structural components to ensure safety. They may limit race parts to verified race cars. They may track limited production items carefully. But here's the problem. People are pointing out, if VIN-based restrictions were strictly enforced, how were multiple challenge components already delivered earlier in the build? Why were rear wings, diffusers, and other race parts allowed, but the final pieces suddenly blocked? That timing raises questions. Was it purely a technical safeguard? Or did someone notice the build and intervene? Matt even reached out to owners of actual 296 challenge cars, asking if they would order the remaining parts on his behalf. Every single one of them declined. Why? Because high-end manufacturer relationships matter. Owners fear damaging their standing with Ferrari by bending the rules. And that's when this situation stopped being just about one build. Because we've seen this pattern before. When Matt rebuilt a Bugatti Chiron, parts access became restricted. Statements were made about what could and couldn't be done outside official facilities. Now with Ferrari, we're seeing similar situations. Independent builder starts an ambitious project. Manufacturer cites policy, and parts access tightens. The 296 now sits in a unique position. It's structurally modified for challenge components. It can't easily return to full factory road specification without undoing fabrication work. It still won't start because the hybrid system remains locked, and the remaining race components are blocked. So the project is paused, and this leads to the bigger discussion. Modern performance cars are increasingly controlled by software, encrypted modules, and manufacturer-authorized tools. Access to parts isn't just about money anymore. It's about permission. Ferrari argues that restrictions protect safety, ensure correct part allocation, and preserve brand integrity. Independent builders argue that once a car is purchased, the owner should have the freedom to repair, modify, and build as they see fit, especially when they're buying genuine parts. There's no simple answer, but what's clear is this: the balance of power is shifting. As cars become more digital, manufacturers gain more control, and independent builders face more obstacles. Right now, Matt Armstrong's Ferrari 296 GTB remains unfinished. A visually transformed machine that refuses to start. A race-inspired build missing its final components. And a symbol of the growing tension between creativity and corporate control. The automotive world is watching closely. Because what happens next won't affect just one Ferrari. It could influence how future rebuilds, restorations, and custom projects are handled across the entire industry. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because this story isn't finished. And the conversation about who truly controls a car after it's sold is only just beginning.